Hello everyone, I go by 20 Paths on the internet. I've been mixing for about 4 years and I've produced and mixed hundreds of songs. If you're new here, I just make straightforward commentary videos talking about music production and mixing. Today's topic, how to progress. Now this is really kind of niche depending on obviously what genre that you're trying to make music in or produce and mix or whatever you're doing. So take everything with like a slight grain of salt or just attribute it to whatever style that you're making. Also, I don't know why, but my nose is like kind of stuffed. Maybe you can hear it. So yeah, it just depends on the style. But the way to progress with like mixing is just listen to a whole bunch, and I mean a bunch, of like your favorite music and the way it sounds, specifically like the genre that you're making or like the type of song that you want to make, and then just listen, train your ears, especially on your like playback device, because me personally, I have like a really high quality set of headphones. So if your playback device is not good, or basically what I'm just trying to say is that your ears can lie to you if your equipment is lying to you. So make sure you have a decent pair of headphones. The ones I have are the Hyphen Nanos, and I sometimes I use them EQ'd, sometimes I don't. Me personally, I think that I can mix without them EQ'd, but that's just me. But yeah, literally just listen to a whole bunch of music and like train your ears to hear what you're actually doing. Like literally just look up on YouTube like frequency training or whatever, or just go to Google or something. Just look up frequency training, and you'll there's like a whole bunch of websites where they'll like play sounds A/B test, and you can have to figure out like which one was altered. But yeah, if you're gonna start doing this, make sure you have a decent pair of headphones. What I did, I just watched a whole bunch of YouTube videos and then just like A/B tested, or like just rep after rep, trying to get better, so that's just me personally what I did. But my personal setup of like how I mix like right now is that I have Spotify and I have on my mix bus a limiter, and I have that limiter, the output on that limiter set to -6 dB, which is around in the ballpark of where it's in the ballpark where Spotify like normalizes audio. So I have that normalization, and then from my mix bus at that -6, I push it into that limiter, but the output's still at -6. Hopefully that made sense to you. If not, I'll just put a picture on the screen of like my mix, like my main mixing tool that I use. But genuinely, what I would like recommend, do just listen to a whole bunch of music, compare it while you're mixing into like what you're actually doing, and train your ears for frequency, and then just literally just do a whole bunch of that. But as far as like specifics go for guides, I guess you could say, usually what I do is I have on my mini meters, I have the spectrogram. Basically, I have the spectrogram set to 5 dB per octave. This is my target shape of like, it's like a ballpark shape of like what I want typically in a mix. So whenever I do set it to that, I want it to look relatively flat. I don't want everything to look flat, like every single instrument, but the sum of everything, I want it to look relatively flat, but I'm not intentionally going for that, if that makes sense. So at the end of it, my mix should be kind of towards that shape, if that makes sense. And another trick that I use for like mud, I guess you could say, is I'll grab my Pro Q3 and set that spectrogram to 0 dB per octave, and I will adjust that like around 250 to 500 hertz range to be under that 0 dB line. So whenever I'm mixing, I personally find that when it's under that line at 0 dB per octave, it just sounds like phenomenal. It just sounds great. I felt like I just made everything like so much clearer. Then obviously, like, this isn't for all instruments, it's just for the ones that have that good amount of low end information that you do want to mess with a little bit, or it's just like getting in the way of clarity, I guess you could say. But yeah, I don't do this on every single instrument, only on the instruments that actually do need it. As far as like tonal shaping, I I have a shape for instruments that are higher in frequency, I guess you could say, that where you really want them to like stand out or just shine or just sparkle, I guess you could say. All these like doo-doo word. Basically, I just want that 3 to 5 kilohertz range to just come up and stick out, but not in like a sharp way, just like a gentle lift. But the plugin I always use for that type of stuff is the Portec by Analog Obsession. That I genuinely use that on damn near every single instrument that I use, like almost. Like that is my first EQ that I reach for, like 9 times out of 10 for instruments, because the tone shaping is just, it's so quick, because it's literally, it's like 2 knobs. You turn it up, turn it down, and you just set the frequency, turn it up, turn it down, and you can instantly get like what you want easier. But as far as like specifics, I obviously you want to go for like a Pro Q3 or like any type of parametric EQ that you want, any EQ that you want really, for like specifics, and that's literally what I do. I know FL has that the EQ inside, like at the very bottom of every single mixer track. Me personally, I don't use it just because I feel like I don't have enough control of like what I want, and plus I feel like it's like you really have to like mess with it to get what you want sometimes. So I just leave it alone. I just use the Portec by Analog Obsession, but only for tone shaping for my instrument tracks. But like leveling, I think leveling is pretty easy. Like what I do, I just set everything to mono and then level it like that. You could do it with the little slider thing on the master track inside FL, or like on my main like mix bus plugin that I use. It has a mono thing too, so I can use either one, but I just set levels in that because sometimes I feel like the stereo field, it can like lie to you in terms of how that translates to mono, which it does. I don't know why I said it. Like I think it does, especially like on like the headphones you use. So like depending on your headphones, the stereo image does lie to you, obviously, depending on obviously your playback system. But whenever I am leveling my basically everything, whenever I am doing all that, I use the channel rack, the little knobs on the channel rack. That way I don't see the exact numbers and all that bullshit. I just listen. Yeah, just listen. You can tell, especially if it's a mono. You can easily tell, especially if you train your ears, which you should be doing every single day or every other day. You have to be training your ears constantly. Another thing I've learned is like, I don't know if it's like true or whatever, all this stuff that I'm talking about is just stuff that I've noticed like as a trend, like simple pattern recognition between music that I've listened to and worked on. But another tip that I like do or use, whatever, that I don't know if I came up with it. Basically it's just background, foreground, and just text. Literally, by text I mean vocals. So like literally everything is background, and then what I put in foreground is just like the rhythm and whatever instrument that I want to like stick out, and then in like the main like center focus, I guess you could say, I just put the vocals. That's how I level stuff, and kind of have to image it a little bit like in your mind. But yeah, that's pretty much what I have for today. I know it's not like a super organized, scripted, attention grabbing, highly edited video. Me personally, I hate all that bullshit. But just let me know like if you found any of the tips or my experience useful, and just leave a comment. See ya.